Welcome, everybody, to the Minions of the Zoo, the Tuesday broadcast. I'm your keeper this evening, Skep Tock, and with me I have Mr. Adam.
Hello.
It's nice to have you with me. I'm glad somebody showed up for the show. Expected to be joined by some other people later on. We'll introduce them as they come trooping in. But
We have.
how are you doing this evening?
Oh, I'm doing good. It is Tuesday.
It is Tuesday.
It is Tuesday. Um, I like Tuesday because it's a nice day to play some Street Fighter. For
Yeah, it's spelled wrong. It's the second day of the week. Why isn't it spelled TWOSDAY?
it's probably because
Somebody couldn't spell.
like a French or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, idiots.
So how are you then? How have
I'm,
you been?
I'm, I can't complain. It was a very active day. Out in the heat. It was 105 degrees here. Was the high today. I
105.
was out. I was out mowing the lawn, and it was when I came in. I asked Alexa what the temperature was, and she told me it was 104. And you know, and at least at least she doesn't say stuff like, what are you doing out mowing the lawn, 104-degree temperature? Hi, Harry.
Howdy.
So we were just talking about the weather as we are wont to do. I was asking Adam how his day was, and but welcome to the show. I think we'll also be joined by Serenity at some point, and so that would be make it fun for all of us.
How's it going, Harry?
Well, not too bad. At least I can't complain about the weather.
Is it hot for you?
No.
No, it's just perfect, really.
I'm out by the California coast. It's the kind of weather that would make most people jealous. It's pretty much a constant 70 degrees high,
It
58
really is.
low forever. I mean, as far as
It's
the
just
forecast
perfect.
goes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's I love the weather there. God, I miss the weather, the eucalyptus trees, the ocean. I miss it all. Still do.
As long as
But
you don't burn the eucalyptus in your fireplace, everything's fine.
yeah, that's
That's a rookie
uh,
move, is what that is.
yeah. I was just gonna say that's a uh, it's a learning experience, really. But I loved living on that island in the middle of San Francisco Bay. It's covered with eucalyptus trees. It's
Hmm.
just practically the only trees on Yerba Buena Island are all eucalyptus.
They're
I
kind of
just
an invasive species.
yeah, yeah, and the Monterey pine and the eucalyptus down in Monterey are just it's a wonderful place to live. It just is.
Well, a lot of
Just
California is pretty damn nice, actually.
oh
If
yeah,
if you're just near the coast, I mean, this is why people put up with all the crap.
yep. If I was going to live anywhere, I would probably live in one of the little towns that's very near San Luis Obispo. That's just a very pleasant part of California. People are nice, a little weird, but nice. But I can do weird. I kind of dig it. And the climate is just, God, it's just perfect down there.
San Luis Obispo is a really nice town.
Yeah.
It's kind of Southern California by my standards. If I was going to start dividing up California, I would
Hmm.
draw the line right below San Luis Obispo because it's too good
Yes,
for Southern California.
I
They
agree.
they
I
don't deserve it.
agree completely. I agree with your reasoning, even. It's absolutely spot on. Yeah, San Luis Obispo is too good for LA. I wouldn't live in LA. LA is just a wreck. There's just
Yeah.
nothing good about it anymore. Even the ocean is spoiled.
What about you,
Long Beach
Adam?
is a mess.
What's the perfect place for you to live if you could live anywhere?
I don't know. I've been out. Um, I've driven out to New York. I think the furthest out, like Islip, right? Islip, Long Island. I think it was. Um, And then further southeast is like Orlando, not too far, but Uh, and then southwest would be like Laredo, Texas. But then northwest, um, honestly, it's a mix up between Olympia, Washington, and Astoria, Oregon. I really like that area up there. Um, I'm not really a big fan of the rain, but at the same end, it's it's kind of nice. I just like the trees and the mountains and the terrain of the area. I think it's something that I like to cozy up into.
What do you like to do outdoors, Adam? Do you like going hiking and stuff?
If given the possibility,
Yeah,
when I was living out in Olympia, yeah, that was a fun time.
yeah. There's some beautiful parks and stuff out there on the up around Seattle and between Seattle and Tacoma.
Oh
Just
shit, the aroma of
amazing.
Tacoma.
The aroma
No,
of Tacoma. Tacoma is a dirtball town. I'm sorry. It's like Renton, you know. No, people don't actually live there. They just exist there.
they're there. That's um, no, only because oh, damn it, I was just thinking about that earlier. Well, this morning, about my adventures out in Olympia, and damn, yeah, fucking. I used to work at a furniture company that would go and trek around the area, so I had a nice stint traveling around the northeast or the northwest uh, area, and then would vacation out in Oregon and all that, Oregon, however the fuck you want to call it. Yeah, no, it's um the one thing that stuck with me was before I moved out there was somebody was like, "Oh yeah, dude, that's God's country." And then when I went out there and just hanging out and living out there, yeah, that's some beautiful country out there. Yeah,
Mm.
but I'm not gonna lie, there's some areas like traversing between them that's
Hmm.
pretty nice. It's just one of those things where it's like you probably need some good chunk of change to be able to settle there because it's like there's not a lot out there. Like Rapid City and shit. I wouldn't mind staying out there. Um, some of the Dakotas. Ah, man.
There's just two of them.
Well, I mean, like I said, there's some of them.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you got two to choose from. They're they're a great deal alike, actually, until you get to the west side of the Dakotas. South Dakota is a lot different from North Dakota.
Which
Yeah.
one's the one with the good-looking governor?
Well,
Whoa.
Christy Nome,
Yeah.
that's South Dakota, I think. I believe that's South Dakota.
Yeah.
Or is it plus?
Yeah, South Dakota.
Which
You
one
have to
has
check.
wall drug?
That's in South Dakota. That's on I-90. It's
Yeah.
yeah. You see signs to it from miles and miles away. Oh, Serenity joined us. Hello.
Howdy.
Yeah, you're I've driven all the way across South Dakota, and you know you start seeing only 300 miles to Wall Drug, right? And there's just signs like Burma Shave signs all across South Dakota. You're almost to Wall Drug. You finally get to Wall Drug, and it's this town and the entire town is a drugstore. It's Wall Drug. and
So
that's all that's there. And it's the largest drugstore in the world. It goes on for miles, or not miles, but like a couple of miles. It's just essentially a cobbled together kind of a mall type of situation with just junk to buy everywhere, and it's all just uh, bric-a-brac, throwaway stuff. Anyway,
Bunch
talking
of
about
tatty
wall
stuff.
dragons. Yeah, exactly.
how's it going, Star?
Good. How's it going with you all?
Making bread.
You're always
Golden
making
mean.
bread, Harry.
Not always
Hey.
making bread. A couple times a week, probably.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of bread?
What do you think? What do you think about
sourdough.
that Coca-Cola bread that I?
The silly German cooking channel where they
Yes.
threw Coca-Cola in the bread. Well, it's actually, if you're gonna make like a sandwich loaf, like an enriched loaf, something that's really light, I would
Mhm.
think adding the sugar and the Coke is fine. The food coloring is kind of immaterial, but one of the things that you do in a lot of baking is you'll add malt sugar because it
Mhm.
gives it a really nice finish.
Yeah.
So even without the egg wash they put on the bread in that recipe, you're going to get a nice color to the outside. It's going to toast up really well. So yeah, I mean, you can use Coke, but the carbonation doesn't really do anything. All the carbonation ends its job long before the first proof. Sorry, Adam. Go ahead.
Well, when you say Coke, do you mean specifically Coca-Cola,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or
the beverage.
or is it would any sort of soda type brand would work? Like, would RC Cola
Yep.
provide a different
Yep.
but you were saying it gives you a different like outside texture to it, or like
The sugar caramelizes more when the bread bakes. So if you just make sourdough, it's just
well,
it's
hold on,
just
because I think maybe Dr. Pepper might give it like a tougher texture, because doesn't Dr. Pepper have a bit more sugar than regular Coke?
well, isn't
or
going to
like-
make it tougher texture. I just going to say that sourdough usually only has flour, salt, water. That's all that's really in it, and yeast. But when you make like a nice like a Wonder Bread kind of thing, there's going to be sugar. There's going to be a little bit of vegetable oil. There's going to be and different kinds of sugars to feed the yeast and stuff. So the Coke is really going to make the yeast really happy that you put in there. So it's not as crazy as it looks.
What does the Coke add in terms of a variable?
Well, it adds the sugar
And a little bit of acid.
Yeah.
It's mostly just a gimmick.
Mostly
Now, if
just
you
a
talk-
gimmick.
If you're talking about the other kind of cocaine,
Whoa!
paralytic temperature of cocaine is about 390 degrees, if I remember right.
Skep
Fahrenheit.
So it's
We
good
don't-
for
we
baking.
don't need to-
Good
we
for
don't need
baking.
to-
So you'll if you're baking that stuff at 400 degrees or even anything close to it, you'll leach out most of the Coke. So you want to sprinkle on the cocaine after the loaf is baked and has cooled substantially below, I would say 300 degrees. You're probably pretty safe.
I think
No,
those
but
chocolate mint cookies, the Arnott's minty chocolatey cookie things from New Zealand, I think those
Mhm.
have cocaine in them. That's the only explanation for why you want to eat the entire package every time you open it.
Well, what's the Girl Scout cookies then? What's their
Not as
thin
good
bit?
as the Arno's.
Yeah.
Well,
But
I mean,
people say that with Oreos too. They'll crack open a package of Oreos.
I
Yeah,
think it just depends on your
yeah.
tolerance.
Well, like the Paul Newman Numinos, I thought were better, especially the Ginger O's, the one that have the little ginger cookies with the filling. Now we're talking because shitty chocolate is just not that not that much fun.
Okay, so while
No
we're
kidding.
on the subject, here's my window of opportunity. Okay, so the other day I was thinking about it. Okay, so you have, if you were to make an Oreo s'more cookie, right? Do you take an Oreo cookie and split the cookie and then put a marshmallow in between it and then smash them together? Or do you take two Oreo cookies and then put a marshmallow between them, and then smash it between
You take
those.
you take half of the cookie part of a golden Oreo. You take the chocolate part of a regular Oreo. Put marshmallow in the middle. Smack them together. There you go.
Wait, what? You're adding a third party?
It's a golden Oreo.
What's a golden Oreo?
You ever seen the golden Oreos? The golden Oreos are just the yellow ones. They're just like not even shortbread. They're just yellow cookies.
They taste like yellow.
Yeah.
What?
The other ones taste like brown.
Yeah. And then you stick fake marshmallow. Well, stick fake fluff in the middle, and there you go. It's as close as you're going to get.
Can't you just use real marshmallow fluff?
Well, I know, but if you're already using fake chocolate and fake yellow, like, just...
Well,
You got to lean into the fake.
Yeah, you just got to go with it. Don't fight
well,
it.
for a
with it.
s'more, you have to, roast the marshmallow. You can't roast marshmallow fluff, can you?
Sure you can.
Yeah, you can.
How?
That's the best part of the marshmallows. You put it on the stick, you put it in the fire, let it get burnt on the outside, take it off, let it cool, and then eat it.
Hold on.
That's the only acceptable way to eat a marshmallow.
You would take a jar of marshmallow fluff, scoop out a bit of it on a stick, roast that up on a fire, and then stick that with the s'more?
Stick it in a little tiny toaster oven and let it do the little broil thing. And just
okay. Well, look,
Regular marshmallows are better for this, Adam. You're right. Yeah. Marshmallow fluff, you can toast it like you toast a meringue, but you're going to have a much better time if you use a real marshmallow. I think your instincts are good, Adam.
Hold on. A meringue.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on that, because that's delicious. Oof.
Have you ever had a pavlova?
What's a pavlova?
It is a big round disc of meringue, which is just lightly baked, so that's perfect. And then you put like fresh fruit all over the top of it. Oh yeah.
Listen. You people are giving me diabetes right now.
Hell yeah.
Giving you diabetes.
Oh, you got me the sugar foods.
It's interesting with respect to confections. When I was a little kid, I'm a little second grader. I'm going over to Belgium, and I had chocolate in the United States, and we got over there, and everyone, I remember having Belgian chocolate for the first time, and I thought it tasted funny. I said, "This tastes different from what I'm used to." And my dad said, "Yeah, it's a lot better." And he also said something like, "It's a lot more expensive too, but it's much better chocolate. Enjoy it." It's a command. So yes, sir. I'm enjoyed by chocolate. But I always liked Belgian chocolate. And then when I came back to the United States, boy, did American chocolate taste bad to me. After 4 years of eating Belgian chocolate, like literally Godiva chocolate, that comes from Belgium, as a matter of fact. But there are other brands too, Droblock, and these big bars of chocolate that just it was amazing. The way that it melts on your tongue is different. It's hard to explain, but just the texture was better, the taste was better. I got back to the United States, and to this day, I don't like American chocolate very much. I like Snickers bars and things like that. Don't do it for me. State of snob.
That's a pavlova, Adam.
Yep, they are very good.
But you can put different fruit on them. You don't have to put that fruit. You can put whatever fruit you like.
Oh, you know what? Hold on. Let me just tell you. When I rule the world, I'm gonna have a nice one of those. But each and every one of those little fruits is gonna be dipped in whatever chocolate Skep Tock was just talking about.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
I've seen pavlova drizzled in very lightly drizzled in butterscotch and chocolate before.
Even those leaves, whatever the
mint.
Those are mint.
Oh, mint. Okay.
It's okay.
They're meant for you.
Well, you learn to recognize mint when you have a neighbor who decided to grow mint, and now you have to fight it back like a demon monster just trying to
is a weed.
encroach on everything, and I'm just like, I'm gonna kill somebody.
Oh, you know what? I need to eat it with like a little fork, and I'm gonna have my pinky up.
Yeah, it's called mint because kudzu julep just wouldn't fly. But yeah, mint
It's
grows
caking.
well.
Ugh.
Would take over absolutely well. It's kind of funny. Brenda and I actually talked about whether or not we should grow mint, and decided against it.
You have to lock that thing up like a frickin' sex offender in prison. Like, you can't let it out anywhere near anything.
Oh, Skep would be okay. Mint takes a lot of water. All he would need to do is not
Just
water, and
abandon
it would
it,
not
yeah.
spread.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
so
I'm
you're
not
thinking
lucky.
you're thinking holler climate, and
Right.
anything that Skep doesn't water just dies. So
That's
there's an
absolutely
easy way to
Yeah.
contain it.
Absolutely true.
When I
Like
was
I have to lock
growing
it up.
Well, when I was growing up, we had a mint thing that was planted underneath this one faucet. Actually, I should see if there's still that faucet there. But there was a faucet. Actually, I just remembered I have a faucet that I haven't seen in forever. Anyway, yes. So there was a faucet there that would leak, and this was before California became the drought state, and it would just leak a little bit all the time from the faucet. And there was a mint plant there, and it just grew like a weed underneath that leaking thing. And I've tried growing it other times in California, and it's like, nope, screw you, not going to happen. You pretty much have to keep its little feet wet most of the time. It just doesn't grow here normally.
Yep.
Here it does.
I mean, there it does. Well, I've told you, I've seen pictures of your state. It's all green, and
Yes,
it's kind
it
of
is.
weird and unnatural.
Hey now.
I'm sorry. I
Trust
mean,
me,
just
if I could send water to California, I would. We got another fucking rainstorm and flash flood warning again.
Yep.
Like, at this point, it's like we're getting like 3 flash flood warnings a
Yeah.
week.
Stop bogarting all the water, West Virginia. Send some of it to us.
I wish I could.
Yeah.
Send it to your aquifers. Like, here, take it. Oh, God, take it.
Yeah.
We have a lot of rain
So-
here. It's ridiculous.
Yes, Skep?
Adam and I were talking just before the show about Jill Biden's remark about Latinos being tacos. or
You mean
something.
Dr. Jill Biden?
Yeah, Dr. Jill
Yes,
Biden,
doctor.
Surgeon General extraordinaire, and she really shows signs of somebody who nobody has said no to in a very long time. She really is impressed with her own importance, I think. I'm going to say, Adam, I'm sorry.
I will agree with you, but I also got to say, well, first off, 2 things. Damn it, it makes me think twice about wearing that tacos t-shirt when we were hanging out, right? In reference, I was wearing a t-shirt that says tacos because Krillin wears one in Dragon Ball, and I thought it'd be funny to wear it. But in terms of Joe Biden, I kind of understood what she was going at. Yeah, the Hispanics out here in this area, the culture, blah blah blah. I honestly thought that people would be going at her because breakfast tacos. What in the fuck is a breakfast taco? Isn't that something that they made at Dunkin' Donuts or some shit?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Like, no. I know as a Hispanic, we do put eggs in a tortilla, but we don't sit there and be like, oh, yeah, we got some breakfast tacos. We don't fucking say that shit. That's so weird. But
For Americans, we butcher everything.
yeah, it's just like, okay, it's
And make it
it's a
good.
cultural thing. Yeah. Who isn't proud of their food?
I've never heard of a breakfast taco. I've heard of a breakfast burrito. I've never heard of a breakfast taco.
Well, like I said, it was more of a. I'm surprised that they are going hardcore at her.
Mhm.
And hey, you know what? hey, I've just been observing this whole ordeal for a while, and I'm surprised. Huh? So you're okay? You're saying that she's calling Hispanics tacos? I, I thought she was just saying breakfast taco. Oh no.
Yeah, actually,
Guess
people in South Texas call them breakfast tacos. But if you
well,
go up into like Amarillo or go to California, they will be called breakfast burritos. Okay, so it's a little bit tricky because you know you don't it's just a local um, term, really. But most places, it's called breakfast burritos that I've ever heard.
In most places, yes, but they're not the same thing. I've actually seen, and it's becoming a more common thing lately, actual
Mhm.
breakfast tacos, and it's not
Okay,
a
I've not seen
burrito.
that.
It's not a burrito full of egg and like
And meat,
sausage with a
some
little
meat,
salsa
right?
on it. Yeah, it's
Exactly.
it's like an actual taco.
Oh, really? So it's got
Yeah.
lettuce and stuff and
No,
beef or
no, no,
lettuce
no,
and
no,
beef
no,
or
no, 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 no. It's more like a Mexico City thing, but a little lighter because it's breakfast.
oh, okay.
Because why not have tacos all the freaking time?
wait.
Well,
So what do they
I'm
have
kind
in
of
it?
on board with that actually.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a description of. I saw some just the other day. I was trying to pre-order dinner for like 6:20 p.m. and I was early, and this place only had breakfast tacos at that point.
This has got to be like a coastal city thing because like around us, what you have two options in terms of taco. You have um, Hispanic taco where it's just cilantro and onion, and then you have uh,
Got white people tacos.
oh yeah, white people taco where it has
Honky
uh,
taco.
tom- tomato,
Yeah.
lettuce, and cheese, and it's like that's what you. And then the rest of it is just it's just tortilla and the meat. So when they're saying breakfast taco, it's like okay, well,
We put
I guess
beans. We
I
put
guess
beans in our breakfast tacos
oh, wow.
in Midlothian, Texas. We actually put beans. Yeah, we put potatoes and cheese and beans in them. You know, that's very popular, along with eggs and bacon. We put the frickin' kitchen sink in there. What we don't do is we usually don't put. You usually don't find lettuce
I
in it.
think there
You know,
might be
shredded
some
lettuce.
areas in Chicago where you might find some potatoes with your tacos. Oh no,
Yep.
that was a Irish and Mexicans hung out a lot in Chicago. Was
Well, that's a great thing about Chicago is you can just go from neighborhood to neighborhood, and the restaurants, the people change, the restaurants change. At least it used to be that way. I don't know
I
if
was
it's
about to
that way
say.
anymore.
All right, you
well,
better.
well nowadays, yeah,
No.
it's been that's why I was saying out in the coast, that's that's crazy that's your options. You know, like you would even think the taco would be like that. Oh, but I would say, I don't know. I think it was a representative from Texas, but I think she responded to this and she was holding up like a hard shell taco. And I'm like, is she holding up a taco from Taco Bell? What the fuck is that? Because she's like, Hispanics are not tacos. And it's like, shut up. It's like, you know what the fuck she meant, dude? Because I was, again, I was looking at it as like, yeah, we are like, she was saying, hey, that, and again, I'm not a big fan of Joe Biden. I'm not a big fan of the Biden family. Okay, but I can at least acknowledge that I don't think she was sitting there calling Hispanic people tacos. I think she genuinely meant what Hispanic people bring tacos to the culture table. She's just really bad at saying it because she's so out of touch. I think we can look at it like that, but at the same
Well,
end, it's like
why did she call? She if she called Hispanic people breakfast tacos, then she called all New Yorkers um, the capital of Colombia.
Well, I don't know, but that's
Yeah,
but
she
the-
called them pagodas.
Oh, yeah, pagodas. Yeah.
The pagodas where you buy your groceries.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, because
The pagodas.
Hispanics don't even do pagodas. Those are Asian and fucking Indian people, and that's New York. That's not. That's like, again, she has no idea what the fuck she's talking about. So it's like, that's why when she said breakfast tacos, it's like, okay, dude.
Okay,
That-
breakfast
you know where
tacos.
You know where she's going at with this.
I don't want to dox myself, so I can't show you this. But there's a
Uh-oh.
there's a barbecue
Uh-oh.
place I know of that sells breakfast tacos in California. You can get a brisket taco, which is flour tortilla and over easy egg and salsa ranchera with brisket.
on.
Oh yeah.
You can
And
get
that's a
you can get
breakfast
get a
taco?
pulled pork taco with the egg and the salsa, or you can get, since it's California, you can get a tri-tip taco. Again, over easy egg salsa. So I mean, it's basically it's an excuse to eat brisket in the morning, and I'm
Yes.
all for it. I'm all for it.
I'm
Hey.
surprised they'll cook your eggs over easy.
Yeah, I
in
know.
California.
No, I mean, hey, we like a nice runny over easy egg. It's the whole yolk pouring out over the brisket when you break the yolk that's the fun part.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but
no
it's,
yoke.
but it's also California that has cancer warnings on everything.
That we ignore. Everything
know,
has
but
everything has a cancer warning. Nobody gives a shit about Proposition 65. It's the most useless thing ever because everything has a
It's like
cancer
cancer.
warning,
I
which
thought it was
effectively means
salmonella.
that nothing has a
Has
cancer
cancer
warning.
warning.
I was just
Yeah.
going to say,
When
You know,
everything has a
cancer-
Prop 65 warning, nothing has a Prop 65 warning.
When someone showed me a picture of a park with the Prop 65 warning, I was like, "What the actual f is
And
wrong
they
with
don't
the government?"
they don't use the government the federal government guidelines for what's carcinogenic. There's actually a separate group of California nerds that decide whether or not they
Are
think
you
something might be
kidding?
carcinogenic. No, they use their own definitions for what's carcinogenic. So if the people who run the state of California decide that something might be carcinogenic, they apply their own standard to it, which is usually much more stringent than the EPA standard, just to make it extra screwed. Which is why nobody pays attention to Prop 65 warnings, because you literally can't do anything if you followed those.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, but I do know some at least California YouTubers who talk about well, there's a reason why everything has to have those warnings on it. It's like, yes, because you all are stupid.
Yep.
Not California as a whole, just those specific people.
You go to pump gas, and there is a Prop 65 warning staring you in the face saying that the things in the gasoline are known to the state of California to cause cancer, which they do. You know, so don't pour it over your hand.
Yeah.
And don't huff the fumes while you're filling your tank. I mean, it's all pretty straightforward, but I mean, you're just surrounded by these warnings every day. You know those
Didn't we
ceramic
run
water
across
filters?
You
Sorry.
run across those videos where the lady's like fucking pouring gasoline all over her car like it's a car
Yeah.
wash.
Well, every now and then, and she's usually wearing like Lululemon workout gear or something, with a crusty white dog and a.
But what
boa.
were you gonna say, Harry?
Well, like those Berkey water filters that a lot of people get. That's like the big stainless steel thing, almost like a big coffee urn that's got
Yes.
the
Yeah.
ceramic
Yes.
filters. Those have a
Yep.
Prop 65 warning
Mhm.
because the thing that the rest of the world uses to filter their water is too carcinogenic for the state of California. I don't think you can actually buy them here. Every now and then they'll sort of slip through Amazon, but you can't.
Is that
I don't think
because
you're supposed to
the-
be able to buy those in California.
The ceramic
Yes,
are weak radiators.
it's, I don't know, some reason. It's
Yeah.
No,
carcinogenic.
I almost guarantee you that's what it is. And
Yeah.
ceramic, anything that's made out of baked clay is going to be a weak. I believe it's an alpha radiator.
Well, we have uranium in large amounts of the water here, the groundwater. certainly throughout the Central Valley. And if you go to a beach and there's black sand that washes out onto the beach from like a river mouth, that stuff's full of thorium. I mean, that stuff's actually pretty hot. So
That's
you're
interesting.
surrounded by
Did not
tons
know
of
that.
natural radiation here.
Mhm.
But of course, that water filter, yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah, one of the evil water filter.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost guaranteed because of the ceramic. That's
Well, it's just like whenever you look at anything online, like if you live in another state and you look at like the
Mhm.
warnings on stuff, it always says this gives the California warning separate than everything else. It's like this could give you cancer, and it's like, holy cheese and crackers. Okay. What the fudge? But he's California. What can do?
Yeah.
so. Have you noticed that the New York Times and Washington Post have suddenly taken an interest in Donald Trump again?
Yeah.
Suddenly, we see his name appear in the Washington Post. We see his picture in the Washington Post. And it's like, okay, he's getting ready to run. We've got to start putting him in his place now.
It's funny that it ties almost exactly in on the New York Times basically starting to turn on Biden. So it kind of ties in together. It's like, and here we go. And it's like, really?
Do you guys think Trump is going to run?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I'm not as sure as I was. I used to think that he wouldn't be able to stay away from it. I think if Biden runs, I think Trump would he would want to beat Biden. That's his personality.
Well,
he would like to stomp Biden.
Well, here's the question then: if you don't think Biden, if you don't think Trump's going to run, who do you think is going to be the Republican candidate? And don't say DeSantis.
Why can't we say DeSantis?
Well, because
why not?
I'd like to hear other options other than DeSantis, because DeSantis pings my Tulsi Gabbard radar. Like, there's something it's something that just pings wrong, and I don't know what it is. So if you're asking me to explain it, don't expect me to. But something
eventually you're gonna see DeSantis in a bikini, and you're gonna be like, "Oh shit!" Oh
DeSantis is so far out in front of everybody else as the potential candidate. I think that he's kind of sucking all the oxygen out of the room. I mean, if it's not Trump, it's DeSantis. I think that's what everybody is thinking. DeSantis has said he'll wait on Trump. So, said he won't compete with Trump. So this is Trump's election almost to decide whether does he want to be president again or not,
or does he just want to play golf and hang out with his hot wife?
I think he wants to be president. I really do.
I think the question is what would be the reasoning or for right now? I think he's doing a lot of things right now, because didn't he just show off the repainting of his plane? I think he's doing a lot of this to help out with the mid-election for a lot of the people he's endorsing. I think that's his play for this.
So you think he's not going to run 2.5 years from now?
Well, 2.5 years
for president. I mean,
yeah, I can't say that he's gonna run.
You think Joe Biden is? You think Joe Biden is?
I think Joe
Biden has said that he is going to run for re-election. Kamala Harris
Biden has says a lot of things.
So do you think he's not?
What okay. Joe Biden, do I think Joe Biden's gonna run? I think he might think he want to, but is he capable? Probably not. Will the Democratic Party want to endorse him or even push him, it doesn't look like they want to. So, in terms of that, no. With Trump, I would say I think he's using it more as, like I said, as a means to push candidates in smaller areas,
Mhm.
and I think that would be a more effective thing. He can keep saying, "I may or may not run in 2024," but hey, check out all these people that I'm supporting, and I think that's his game plan. Democrats, dude, these guys are fucking lost.
I
Let's
don't
be
think
realistic.
I don't think Trump's ego will let him stay out of it.
Oh,
He
I'm
just
sure he'll try and get into it, but
he wants that power again. He wants that reach, that commanding the press to pay attention to him. And
Well, I think
I
also
think he digs that.
I think he'd get a kick out of it if he managed to do what he did the first term again, which is make everything air quotes better. If he
Yeah.
did that, like he would because I'm vindictive like this too. I like if I was in that situation and I pulled it off again somehow by just either shit luck or my own ability, oh, I would rub it in everyone's face. Because I am that asshole. I'd be like, oh, look at that. Oh, I couldn't do it again. Oh, look at Biden.
But
Look.
you think
Look.
about what he'll be stepping into. He's going to
Yeah.
be stepping into an economy that has been abused so badly, a currency that has been abused so badly that now we're in an inflationary time, and we're probably going to have a pullback in the GDP to the point where we'll have negative growth for 2 consecutive quarters, the definition of a recession, and it may even last longer than that. This might be a long recession. Uh, if it's still going on when uh, when the election happens, it'd be an interesting thing. Do you want to have the job of president when we've got a problem like this that needs attention?
Well, that does bring to the question, though, would DeSantis want it? Because,
Oh yeah, DeSantis wants it.
well, no,
DeSantis
but
wants
still,
this
like,
badly.
to step into what he would step into.
He doesn't care. DeSantis is a completely different view, I think, than Trump. Trump's, for all his uh, silly predilections, and he's got some personal predilections that just get in his way. I mean, his personality, his ego get in his way all the time. But he's not economically unsophisticated at all. He has a good handle on how the economy works and what to stay away from. The DeSantis would be relying on his people much more, I think.
I don't think that a Republican like Trump, who isn't really a Republican, but I don't think somebody
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Trump or DeSantis would really view the current economic situation as being a negative,
Yeah.
because all that they have to do, so unlike countries that have fundamental problems that they can't overcome, they don't have the
Mhm.
resources, they don't have, just start listing off the things they don't have. We have all
Yeah.
those things. All we
Yeah.
literally have to do is just stop being stupid in a few key areas, and
Get
you
out
will
of our own-
automatically get growth.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to take your knee off the neck of the American people for a little bit,
Yeah.
and magic will just happen. It's
Well, I
it's
mean-
not complicated compared to what's going on in a lot of other
we
countries.
we have the best economic machine in
I
the world
cannot
by far.
believe you used that analogy.
I did.
That
It's not Floyd Miss Eve.
How
It's
brash.
fine.
how on the nose, or
Yeah.
Yeah, on
Well,
the
I
nose.
guess
You're,
slightly
you got it
no.
right. You're good. But no, it's like, I mean, Harry's right. Like, the fact that certain people have fucked this up so bad when it should have been so easy to just let it keep going, because that's all Biden had to do. That's all he had to do, was just let it keep moving, and he would have been fine, and he wouldn't have the numbers that he has. He wouldn't be in any situation he is. But like, Because if any president who has a lick of sense, whether Democrat or Republican, start at least allowing some of the pipeline, us produce oil and everything like that, be energy net exporter like we were under Trump, they just got to start doing that in small doses, shut the border down, going, oh, we have to take a consensus of shit. Shut that down, and things will start to come back. Now, that doesn't mean we aren't going to have some hard times. We are. It's one of those things where it's kind of like, just get out of your own way. That's all you have to do. Look at AOC and the squad, give them the middle finger, and just keep walking. Like, it's like we are. Yes, it's going to produce some not perfectly clean stuff, but we are still the cleanest energy producer in the world compared to pretty much every other country because we have such high standards. Like, just let us do what Americans do best. Sit down, shut the fuck up, and just let us do it.
Yeah,
well,
it's not difficult.
Isn't this kind of what the issue is with the Dutch farmers, where it was essentially the government was saying you're not allowed to use X amount, or you're supposed to lower your amount of usage of specific, I think nitrate or something like that.
Nitrate, not induced, saturated fertilizer
containing nitrate containing.
Thank you.
And you're supposed to reduce it at a drastic pace as opposed to like a longer pace. And the farmers are essentially saying, hey, you're gonna just you're killing us with this.
Yeah.
It's not a. We see where this is going. It's not going to be good. This is kind of what I'm talking about. Like this, at what point do we look at it and say, yeah, something's going on here? Either these people are really that incapable, or they're doing this deliberately. I mean,
do you know much about agriculture, Adam?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, cool. So then you know that when you go to the store and you buy fertilizer, and it says like 0, 10, 10, what those three numbers are. It's nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus. And so those are the three main nutrients that plants need, other than CO2 and water. The things and sunlight, the only things that plants really need for the most part are those three nutrients. And of course, they need a little bit of iron and a few other things, but that's primarily what makes plants happy. Nitrogen being, for anything that's leafy and green, that's one of the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
And unless nitrogen gets leached out the fastest. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Right, unless you're trying to coax flowering plants to flower, you want nitrogen. It's basically to plants what carbohydrates are to us.
Wait, flowering plants.
Flowering plants, if you give them too much nitrogen, they'll just be leafy and green and they won't bud.
Yeah, they won't bud.
Yeah.
So whether it's tomatoes or the other thing, you don't want to put too much nitrogen when they're in the certain phases of their development.
Because they get stoned and they forget to have sex.
They're just like,
Pretty
everything's good. I don't need offspring.
Asleep after the pizza. Yeah, they fall asleep after the pizza.
Screw the college fund. I'm just going to be leafy and green and fuck it. Don't need any offspring.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a hippie.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But saying that you're going to limit the amount of nitrogen that farmers apply to their crops is tantamount to just saying, we don't care if people starve.
Yeah.
The only reason that we can sustain a population of almost 8 billion people on this planet is because of chemical fertilizer. Full stop. That's it. Without chemical fertilizer, people will just die.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly right. You will have privation like you've never seen. You will see real, and you'll see a die-off. You would see a die-off. If we got rid of all chemical fertilizer, you would see a significant die-off. You'd see wars happening over farmland.
Well, also, organic farming is not without its chemical inputs. It's just that you're restricted on which stuff you can use. So people think, oh, well, there's no pesticides on organic stuff. And it's like, ha. You have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah, so essentially they take, God, what is it? Is it chrysanthemums? There's a chemical fertilizer they make that's derived from certain flowers, and flowers produce compounds to keep the insects away so that they won't get eaten. What the flower wants to be is pollinated so that it can spread its seeds and do that sort of thing, but it doesn't want to be eaten by bugs. wants to be pollinated by bees, so they produce chemicals. They have to apply huge quantities of this stuff to organic crops, because without it, you're going to be eating bugs anyway.
Chrysanthemums, lemongrass, thyme, mint, basil, and lavender.
Yeah, all of these things go into these natural fertilizers they make, and because they're a lot less effective, you have to just put tons and tons of this shit on the supposedly organic crops. You just don't use regular insecticides; you use organic insecticide.
Well and good.
Yeah,
but I will say that the immediate reaction of less food on European shelves, and eventually it's going to go to everywhere. If these farmers aren't going back to work because of whatever they want addressed, I think that's the area that we should be looking at, as opposed to however the mixture is. I mean, again, come on, man. Let's be realistic. Let's not pretend that there's not corporations out there that are fucking trying to control how exactly we grow our food. And you can sit there and it's going to take you're right, it's going to take generations, because there's been decades of people who have just let this shit go by. So I mean, come on, we're trying to fix problems that have been established prior to the current generation that's going on.
At least when it comes to the Dutch farmers, yes and no. The thing that's going on now with them is a modern problem that just was hinted at, but just kind of came out of nowhere.
They're addressing the current political legislature that just went through, and again, that's in the long term, in terms of how agriculture is going. Yeah, dude, we need to address it and we need to look at it, but to just play like this shit has just sprung upon us, that's retarded. It's not.
It kind of
been
has,
going
though.
on for a while.
Not quite.
If we're gonna sit there and say we're going on, because let's not pretend that things like Monsanto hasn't been a thing.
Okay? Monsanto is not the big bad guy everybody makes it out to be. Okay. It's mostly boogeyman bullshit.
I get it. Okay.
Well, some people argue that the GMO crops and the ownership of the seeds is an issue worth taking a look at, but that's been somewhat overstated. The supposed cases of farmers just innocently getting their crops cross-pollinated with Monsanto crops, a lot of times when they go to look at it, they'll find out they were up to some kind of shady business. Mm-hmm. People lie about stuff when money's involved. I know, it's surprising.
And
not stockbrokers.
Oh yeah, not at all. Not them. No.
Yeah, but
it's
GMOs
also difficult to have discussions when people have very stern views on situations like this. So,
well, GMOs can solve some of the things, because you basically rev the plants up so that they fix nitrogen from the atmosphere more aggressively. Mm-hmm. But then people say, well, we don't want GMOs. We want organic this and that. So it's a lot of the Mercedes driving quinoa munchers making decisions that are just going to completely screw poor people.
Yeah, because it's one of the things of like it's one of the things that the States we have a little bit easier than Europe, is the fact that there are people like me and like Skep who can have gardens that can supplement some of that. So we're not having to we're not going to have to worry about tomatoes for a while around here. Same thing with Skep, because they finally decided they wanted to freaking grow. Same thing with cucumbers and peppers and everything like that. So, and especially if either canning's involved or preservation in some sense is involved, we have neighbors who have, we have chickens and eggs and stuff like that. And depending on how you do it, we're in a weird way, because of how big America is and how much land a lot of Americans have, even in a suburban setting. If they even just half-ass it with a garden, they can supplement some of their stuff. Europe's going to get screwed long before we do, because of just it's the thing that I always see so many channels on YouTube bitching about, which is America is not walkable, and it's like, you're right, because we're not Europe. Now, do I think big cities should be a little bit more walkable? Yeah, but I also don't like having neighbors right next to me. I like the fact that my neighbor is a good distance away from me. I like having my own land. If that means I have to drive 20 minutes or more somewhere, fine. I take that chance. But it's we have the land to do things as individuals that a lot of other countries don't. And like especially when you start looking at some of the stuff that's been happening in China with just the horrendous things happening there for those poor people, like the fact that being able to control some of your own food in the sense of being able to grow or build it up is a nice thing to have because it makes you feel not necessarily safe, but it makes you feel a little bit more in control, which is, I think, a very good thing. Also, being able to have a gun.
The bulk of people in the U.S. live in big cities.
I
And
know.
gardening in big cities, container gardening in big cities is not really an effective.
It's not.
It's not going to solve the problem. So if you happen to live in the suburbs or in the country, better yet, and you have access to water, you can absolutely take care of a lot of your food needs that way.
Mm-hmm.
There's a channel on YouTube. It's a guy in Northern California. It's called Plant Abundance. He's gotten a little weird and religious recently, which is kind of odd because he was just sort of talking about gardening and then all of a sudden it's Jesus. It's like, holy crap, where did Jesus come from? It's just like suddenly it's a lot of Jesus stuff. But he seems like a good dude. I still watch the Not Jesus episodes on his channel. And he has videos on everything from pruning fruit trees, which I've actually used some of his methods and they're good, to just sort of how you make like your backyard into a food forest. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of tree collards and goji berries and that kind of stuff. If you know what you're doing, you can produce a lot of your food in a very small amount of space. But in Europe, they do have a gardening tradition that predates our country. They have allotments and other things. So there's a garden culture in the UK. I think they had a lot of very successful gardens in the UK during World War II. So I think you might be selling them short just a little bit.
Well, the thing is, because England did the whole Brexit thing, I don't really consider them part of mainland Europe because they're not.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a lot of because a lot of Europe is turning into how Japan is. Like, yeah, in America, we have large populations that are in the major cities. I agree. But we also have a lot of population that's outside of the major cities. And especially after COVID, a lot more people are moving out of the big, large major cities. Well, not a whole lot, but more people than normally did. And that's the thing. In like Europe, you have people who just live in the major cities and don't have the allotments and stuff like that. Because like at least the family members I know that I have that lived in Amsterdam for a little while, they, contrary to the commonality of belief that everybody thinks Amsterdam is this beautiful, wonderful place, they hated it because of they hated it. Like they were like, everyone's too close. There's this obsession with thinking you're superior because you ride a bike. Yeah.
That's funny. It's like Portland that way.
Yeah, that's they describe.
Except much narrower houses.
Well, they were like,
do you two live in cities?
Oh, me? No.
I spend a lot of time in cities, but not big ones. I refuse. I don't like big cities. So for me, there's always gardens. My friends have gardens. I have a garden. Yeah, but I don't live in like a big city. Nobody here lives in a big city, I think, except you live near one or in one.
Yeah,
close enough.
To make you understand, Adam, the closest city I live near is the capital of my state, and that's over an hour away, and it only has like 100,000 people in it. It's not very large.
Find your commentary kind of funny, but let's go on. In terms of agriculture, I was going to talk about. I was going to at least bring up. I'm glad that Central and South America was able to get their corn stock to themselves and not be dictated by corporations. But I mean,
wait, what are you talking about?
I don't know. I was fucking time lapsed. um, I think
Okay. If you happen to
uh
remember it, I'd be interested to know how that works.
no, yeah, I had it like I had a post-it note in my brain, but I
Yeah.
can't remember where.
Wind came up and it blew away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think there was farming or something going on with that, but
Okay.
yeah, no, yeah. In terms of
European farming, that kind of thing. Okay.
oh, right, yes, European farming. Wait, but what about the cities? Ah,
That's
yeah,
where the crowds of hungry, slack-jawed people will come stumbling from like zombies, just looking for strawberries
hmm.
as they stagger into the countryside hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No
that's
one.
the
They're going to be prey.
well, up to a point. The people in the cities completely outnumber the countryside, and if you see a bunch of fat, happy, healthy-looking people in the suburbs and the countryside, the people from the cities will find their way there to take their stuff. And that's where having the neighborhood patrol and just making it difficult comes in handy.
Exactly.
Now, during the Great Depression, there were there were towns where you would have the roads blockaded, and if you started showing up in a truck like the Clampetts because of the Dust Bowl, they
They'd
would
say,
just tell
"Don't
you to
let the
turn
sun
around and
set on you here."
yeah, they would just with shotguns just turn you around and send you the other way.
That's right.
Dude, that's what it was. I think Harry likes the sound of his own voice.
Oh God, no!
I
I
think that's what it
despise the
was.
sound of my own voice.
I think that's where I got
This
lost because
this Muppet thing.
he keeps going off, and then just kind of like he goes on one direction and then a whole different tangent, and then it's I guess supposed to make sense, but
Yeah.
it doesn't. I don't know, but hey, go on, dude.
No,
Continue.
it's fine.
Continue to indulge us.
Well, you were talking about the cities and the cities versus the country, and that's just the thing that popped into my mind from the history lesson. And I was
think the
really
people
responding to
in-
Serenity on that one.
Yeah, I think
What
the
was
people in
Serenity
the
saying?
cities will have a lot of interpersonal interactions, uh, many of which will involve fatalities for about 50% of them. I think a lot of the city people, if the apocalypse happens and
Yeah, it's not
there's
fun.
no way to get food, the supermarket shut down, nobody has any food. The first thing is going to happen is it's going to be uh, uh, long pig delight in the cities. Everybody's going to be stealing from each other for a while. When all the stealing is done, then they'll start killing each other. And be, people who live in the city are used to that high density of people. When you go out to raid in the countryside, you're coming up on very defendable very defendable uh, homesteads that uh, are not they're not densely situated. I mean, I think I do agree. I think there'll be that'll be a big uh, part of the warfare will be the hungry victors of the city wars will eventually come into the countryside. But I think at first there will be a tremendous amount of turmoil and fighting in the cities with a lot of people getting killed.
I don't think it's going to get that bad. I think even if our food production dropped by 30%, you wouldn't see that kind of collapse.
Yeah, I'm hopeful that we can get it to cut off completely so we can get a decent die off and save the planet.
See, now that's what the World Economic Forum is for.
I'm just getting
one
on
way or
board.
another.
I'm just getting on board.
Gonna get that discount crisper machine and put it in my garage and get to work by hook or by hook or by crook, man. We're gonna do it. We're gonna get her done.
Right. Yeah.
No, I think gardening's fine, but I think what you would see is they're becoming more of a marketplace for small producers. As you start utilizing more and more arable land, people would start selling more of that stuff, and it would be shipped into the cities, and it would become a nice little source of income for people in the suburbs, long before it got to the point of just people in the suburbs having tons of food and the cities not having anything. I think you'd start to see a market open up for that sort of stuff, and it would ameliorate the situation a lot.
The only thing is, what would the in a barter economy, what would the city folk have to trade, assuming that money has gone away?
Oh, sexual favors. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, you certainly do that. We'll fuck for food.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah. It's an old profession.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've already got the bread, so.
Nice happy topics tonight here on the Skep Talk show. I
was going to say we could always open up.
I want to say hello to Chad a little bit here.
Oh,
notice that we have Assassins here, Johnny Hellcat, Costin's here, of course. Jenna's here. Hey, Jenna, hon, you want on? Let me know if you want on.
Do you want me to send her the link while you're doing the show?
Yeah, I'm actually. Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like she's just going to yell at me.
Thank you.
Sure.
I was going to say it'd be nice if we can open up like plots of land again. Like, hey, you get this chunk of land and you work it, and it's yours. I'd be for that.
40 acres and a mule. Is that where we're going?
Well, I don't want a mule.
Oh, okay.
It's not going to be like
if you're farming,
all he's going to be doing is bitching about Warhammer shit.
If you're farming and you don't have a tractor, you want a mule. Eat a mule. You will need a mule. Mules are amazing. They are amazingly helpful if you have to pull a plow.
Well, seriously, when you're talking about what does the city have to offer, we still have an economy, and cities are where industry is, and that's where a lot of stuff gets made. Not everybody lives near a cement factory. There's plenty of opportunity for trade.
But only one of us lives in the cement capital of Texas.
You're welcome to all of it.
That's Midlothian's. That's on the welcome to Midlothian sign. Welcome to the cement capital of Texas. At least I was amused. Anyway.
Yes.
The other stuff I was looking at. Have you looked at any of the polls on DeSantis and Trump? The latest Harvard Harris poll had Trump as a 40-point favorite over DeSantis. At Emerson College has him as a 35-point leader. He really has a tremendous lead on DeSantis. Is the only one who really shows up. Let's see. When you look at people like Mike Pence, Nikki Haley, Mike Pompeo, they're like getting between 2% and 7%. Ted Cruz got 7%.
Yeah.
And with DeSantis getting about 25 and then Trump getting about 50. So
look, I get the appeal for Trump, but he's pushing it, like as much as he's able to, shuffle on the stage for his rallies. It's the presidency. Look at how quickly it de-aged fucking Biden. Biden went in there like, oh yeah, I'm good. And then all of a sudden, like a year and a half, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, I don't even know what the fuck's going on. Even normally, like when you look at like Barack Obama, when he first went in there, he was young as shit. And then 4 years in, it was like, holy shit, this ages you really quickly. Trump going in there at like 80 something. He's just gonna.
He aged less than a lot of the other ones did, though.
He did
Who?
well.
Who are you talking about, Harry?
Whoa, maybe it's
Well,
the.
you said he.
next-
Are you
Trump.
talking about?
I don't think Trump
talking
aged
Trump?
nearly as aggressively as some of the other presidents. I mean,
Oh,
like
I would agree.
Obama looked
Well-
like he got Dorian Grayed or something. It was
we
like,
don't know. Come on, Trump has so much tan.
Here's the thing about Trump is he doesn't really have a leisure life. He doesn't take vacations. He works 365 days a year. He is all about work, and he is such a complete workaholic. The presidential schedule was just another day at the office for him. I think that's part of why he didn't age that much. You want
That's
to know
probably,
who
yeah.
aged a lot? Who, if look at the beginning of his, look at a close-up picture of the beginning of his first term, and look at him by the end of his second term, was George W. Bush. That guy he was beat up by the presidency.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
He was a mess.
It was night and day
I don't.
with him.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think Obama was aged. He didn't strike me as being aged that much. I think probably because I don't think that a lot of the stuff that was happening with the country really affected him much. I think that he had a public persona that he
Not-
let people see, but in terms of what his real politics were and what he really wanted for the company, I think that was something completely separate.
Not so much as between with the first term, but definitely with the second term. You can see the difference, and not just okay, a decade passed, but
He had more lines around the sides of his eyes. I noticed that, and
you can see the stress. I mean, there's
Yeah.
definitely stress with that comes with the job. But yeah, I will say with Biden, it's just holy shit. it hit him hard. He wasn't that bad when it was.
I think age hit him hard. I think he was going downhill fast. He was headed here no matter what. But I think you're right. I think the presidency just accelerated that process. It was a terrible thing to do. The other thing, I know what I wanted to say, was I think the Democrats have gotten a taste for having essentially a placeholder, a puppet in the White House. I'm dead serious about this. I think it's a fundamental difference between the Republicans and the Democrats. The Democrats want to have somebody who will do what their, what the interests who basically own all the politicians want them to do. The Republicans, they have a lot of candidates like that who would want that same thing. They would, essentially are owned by 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 special interest groups, and they will, conduct the business of the nation in accordance with pleasing their masters. But the idea of a, to use a Isaac Asimov term from Foundation, to have a mutant, a different kind of politician come in, somebody who's fundamentally different, somebody who is basically his own man, not really owned by anybody, and has the political freedom to use the force of his office to do what he thinks is best for the country, well, without regard, or without as much regard, without being forced to take certain positions because of who he's accepted money from. I think that idea is still very interesting, and sadly, the only person we see who could maybe fulfill that is unfortunately Trump, and Trump he's just got too much baggage, I think, too much egotistical baggage, too much personal baggage. His ego gets in his way, and I think that's a fatal flaw. I really do.
So I looked up what you were talking about. Here's Bush in 2000. And here's Bush in 2009.
All right,
Looks like
show,
he
show
creeped
me the
open
first one
the
again.
fucking
All right,
Ark of the
2000.
Covenant.
2000, yes.
Okay, and here's 2009. It was a rough 8 years.
Yeah, it was.
But it's not like anything big happened between those years, right?
Yeah.
No, nothing happened in 2001. Yeah.
I mean, Reagan aged a lot, but a lot of that was just him not dyeing his hair quite so aggressively.
Yeah, but Reagan also got shot and didn't he have a stroke also after getting shot?
That's true. Getting shot doesn't do much for you.
Well,
but Trump hardly aged at all in 4 years. I mean, he looks largely the same.
you know, I think one of the biggest things, and I think it's because he doesn't drink. Like everybody else drinks, and Trump doesn't. Even though he
Clean living.
eats cheeseburgers and all that shit, and ketchup on his steak.
Actually,
But-
Biden doesn't drink.
I'll get Biden's doing some other shit, dude.
Yeah, he's got the Algernon juice.
He's doing something else.
So here's Trump at the beginning, and then here I'm having to screenshot these. And here's Trump. That's when he left. Oh, here. So really, not much of a difference.
He just looks the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, compared to
It's
every other
exactly the
president.
I'm telling you, I have the best medical
There's-
pods available.
There he is at 70.
There's
Here
yesterday.
he is at
Fucking-
73.
Didn't he do a hole in one the other day?
Yep.
It's like, what the fuck? Oh my goodness. This is unbelievable, man.
Yep. So just to illustrate your point there. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail things.
Well, no,
No,
it
It's a
makes
perfect.
it makes a difference not doing alcohol. Alcohol ages people. It just does.
I mean, not drinking poison.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
drinking poison, basically.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I have a lot to say about that. I probably should just shut up. Anyway,
Well, I only brought it up because I would say that would be a variable that you could toss up for how the stress didn't hit him as badly. But I would agree with Harry. Yeah, dude does work. He's a workaholic, so I mean it's probably just another thing for him. You know, he
Yeah.
probably didn't even fucking switch it off.
So
He's probably still doing.
does having a younger wife push you to an earlier grave or actually keep you younger? I think it might actually, having the wife and the kid Baron around, it might give him motivation not to be a complete screw up. I mean, he likes his cheeseburgers and stuff, but he has a lot of reasons to want to live. I mean, I think he really enjoys his life.
And can we be honest? Like, I don't think he's ordering just everyday fucking cheeseburgers. I'm pretty sure if Donald Trump's ordering a cheeseburger, it's probably being made with like the best beef he can get, you know, the best buns, the best cheese.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's I like my cheeseburger too, but it's not a Donald Trump cheeseburger. Let's be realistic.
Things were fun when Bill Clinton was in the White House because Bubba has needs, you know, whether it's fried chicken and cheeseburgers or other needs.
yeah,
It was
Whoa.
never boring covering the Clinton White House.
opening up a 6-pack of interns and going to town.
Yeah.
A 6-pack of interns. That's it's a brisk way to describe it.
Yeah, Trump. Actually, I agree with what Assassin says. Trump thrived, and that's not wrong. He thrives on work. He loves to work. You know, that's what makes his ego run. And there's nothing he likes better than making his ego feel good. That's pretty much what motivates Trump. and he likes the feeling of being in charge and being in charge of a successful operation. He likes to be successful at everything he does. He's really obsessed with it. It's almost a fetish with him.
Yeah. When he was talking about you'll be tired of winning, he wasn't really kidding.
No, he really wasn't. He never gets tired of winning. That's all he wants to do.
Yep. I mean, look how happy he was when they came out with those early COVID test things, and he was out there on the White House lawn like a hand model at the Price is Right, just like I made this.
What?
He's what? This guy's a fucking goofball, man.
Hey, but he's a problem solver. I mean, this is what he.
Johnny Hellcat points out something good though. He says it was only 4 years instead of 8. And you're absolutely right, Johnny.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, that Trump was only in for 4 years. Bush was in for 8. Obama was in for 8. You know.
Okay. Well, then let's do Bush. Let's do Bush Senior then.
Not 4 years.
Okay, we'll do Bush Senior. That'll give you a 4-year comparison. All right.
And then after that,
whoa, go down.
Here's Bush Senior going in 1988.
Raid my lips.
Not gonna do it.
Panama invasion.
Wouldn't be prudent. It's right. I promised I would never do impressions again on air.
Wait, was he the one who said the this aggression will not stand?
Read my lips, no new taxes.
Yeah. Yeah. During Bush, it was Panama invasion. And Iraq invades Kuwait, which we then went into Kuwait.
It was a rough 4 years.
No, the only thing about Bush Senior is he was a demon. Okay, so you weren't going to see a lot of aging with him because he was already made his pact. So that was one of the things with him.
Okay,
I hate to say
he was also the one who said no new taxes.
He was also the one who said he wasn't at Dallas when
JFK
JFK got shot. So fuck this guy.
What does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, Biden was there when Caesar got stabbed.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was.
Yes.
He remembers Corn Pop was a bad dude. He was the second one to stab Caesar after Brutus.
Cornus Pappus was a bad dude.
Cornus Pappus, yes.
Cornus Pappus was sitting there like,
which is amazing since they didn't even have corn back then in Rome, but still.
Yeah.
Corn
Is that
Pappus.
a hole in your toga, or are you just happy to see me? Okay.
Next thing you know, he's going to name somebody Tater Salad, and it's just going to confuse everybody.
Oh, come on.
Just name all of his adversaries after New World crops that they won't have for 2,000 years.
That's funny.
God, I'm easily amused.
Yes, you are.
They sat there and he called Caesar out. Hey, listen to me. You come meet me behind the schoolyard or whatever the fuck, the bleachers or the fucking shit.
Just to pivot just a little bit, did anybody see the first pictures from the James Webb Telescope?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. They were all over Tumblr.
What was your impression?
They look nice.
Yeah, I liked them. It was just
they look nice.
Well, I mean, right now I'm not going to be flabbergasted like I was with the picture of Venus, even though it was colorized. Like, they were amazing pictures, but it's one of those things, like, it's a very hard thing to wrap your head around when you're so used to seeing high definition on planet Earth. Like, you don't understand that it's not that normal.
Hold on.
If somebody had told you that those pictures came from the Hubble telescope, would you have believed them?
No.
If NASA had said that those pictures had come from one of their other telescopes in space, would you have believed them?
Possibly. I just wouldn't have believed the Hubble.
All right, not Hubble, but some other one, the Chandra or whatever. One of the other telescopes. I didn't see anything remarkable in the pictures. I mean, other than the fact that they were of things very far away, and there was some interesting pictures. There's some interesting lensing in them.
It's the
Well,
level
compared-
of detail. The level
Yeah,
of
it's the
detail
level
is
of
what's
detail.
significant.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
compared
just-
to an earlier shot, it was a lot more clearer. But at the same end, it was like, but we also saw an image of interstellar supposedly uh thing. So I mean that's as a detailed image of a faraway image, or something that, holy shit, this came from out of our solar system. I think that's more interesting to me. But again, it's I guess it's
I thought the most interesting thing was the uh, analysis that they did of that
hot gas giant.
hot gas giant
The
transiting
exoplanet.
yeah.
The
That
what?
was really cool. Like
Mhm.
that information is really really neat. There, hot gas giant, exoplanet, WASP 96b. I'm literally looking at it right now. That's the reason why I said that.
Okay.
It showed
Cool.
the way it's the amount of light blocked and all that kind of stuff, and it's like a graph, and shows like the atmospheric composition and everything like that. Of
Yeah, they're able to get a spectrum fix off of
Mhm.
that, and
it's awesome.
they're detecting water vapor and all kinds of
Mhm.
interesting stuff.
so that's
Which-
cool.
which is brings interesting thought processes to both Jupiter and Saturn when you think about it. It's like,
Yep.
how much of it is actually just water that we like, just water? Like, mind you, is it still a theory that Jupiter is protecting us from a lot of bad asteroids, like its gravitational field, or has that been
Oh.
proven?
It tends to sweep out a nice big swath that things can't get through readily.
Okay. The reason why I say it is because, hey, push comes to shove, we run out of water on Earth. We can always go to a gas and just take it. Mine for water. Here we go.
Yeah, we'll just
People-
take water
people-
from each other and in combat. It'll be
There
like
you go.
Doom.
Oh God!
Yeah,
don't
it'll be great.
Don't you start with do nothing.
Kill each other
Whoa.
for render our bodies so that we can reclaim the water.
Yeah, it'll be
Mhm.
fine.
Although I did see some
Spice
stuff they
was
were
full.
doing. What were they doing? I think they were doing it in Saudi Arabia, where they put mesh nets up so that when the dawn comes and like all the dew and everything like that, it settles on the nets and they collect the water from the nets.
Yeah, that's called a fog curtain.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Fog curtains are used in a lot of places.
Well, I just saw it because it was an article on a blog I follow on Tumblr. That's the reason why I remember it, because I saw it there.
No, fog curtains are like super old technology, but they definitely make good sense.
Mm-hmm.
I know a guy who was working on a program to use basically dig holes in the ground and then use metal rods in the desert to sort of collect water and feed it into the water table. Yeah, so they have these big fields that would basically be water farms at night that would capture moisture and push it into the ground.
Let the spice flow.
Yeah.
Let the spice flow.
Want the water flow. That's what you really need. You know, that's the thing that scares me about the apocalyptic scenario is if the water stops flowing, you know, we're in trouble.
Well, shit, hasn't the water stopped flowing in Italy?
Hmm?
Yeah, if I recall, I think there was like, it's like there's chunks of Rome that's burning, and there's a lot of rivers in Italy that's dried up.
There's a drought in the Po River basin in Italy.
Yeah, because I think that's why the farmers were pitching a shit in Italy to go
Isn't
with.
Isn't the Po up by?
It's
Isn't that up
near
by Venice?
Yeah, it's the
thought I
Pian
remembered.
del Re of Monteviso, which is what the Po River feeds into. Flows eastward till the Adriatic Sea near Venice. The Po Basin has a
that's what I
drainage
thought.
area, kilometers, of which are in Italy. The rest are in Switzerland. So the Po, so it's not just Italy that's maybe
Well,
getting
the
hit a little
thing
bit.
is, yeah, it's the headwaters of the Po are in the Swiss Alps.
Yeah.
And it's not a super long river,
Mm-mm.
but it's you know,
What I've seen.
if they're not getting enough melt water
Mm.
that feed the Yeah, this is, I guess they probably had a lack of snow. That's the only thing I can think of. They haven't had snow.
Well,
If
I
they
mean,
lack snow, then it's going to lack water.
yeah, because it feeds out of the Alps and everything like that, and then it feeds into the Adriatic.
Yeah, I just remember seeing something about it being dried up and it
Well,
causing issues with the farming. So it's like even more stuff to have to worry about.
well, the thing is like it's something to worry about, but at the same time, it's also has to be remembered the Earth has gone through this kind of shit millions of billions of times, and human beings just may not have been alive for a good portion of it. So it's like it's something you have to take into consideration, but it's that whole thing of like how much is us helping is actually fucking it up,
Well,
that kind of thing.
I get that, but at the same end, in current times, it's the same kind of thing where I heard the same thing with like people talking about the uh, dispensaries and the food production plants spontaneously, causing on fire, and it's like, oh yeah, well, it happens, it's like, okay, but all of a sudden they're ramping up, and right now when it's like, come on, I get that, yeah, they happen, sometimes, things, just shit a brick, but now, I mean, these aren't things that to be caused alarm. I think, I think we should pay a little bit more of attention to it.
Well, I mean,
uh
we should pay attention to it, but what exact like the question is, I care for the environment. I think we should do stuff for the environment, but what can we do now that's not going to fix this? That isn't going to take 20 years to fix this.
Anything we do now is going to take 20 years.
oh yeah, no, yeah.
Well, that's a thing of like I believe in being aware. I believe in doing stuff to try to fix it and help it, but at the same time, freaking out over it isn't going to change anything. It's actually going to make people basically fly off the hip, do stuff that's too drastic or insane, and then it may make things worse. And that's kind of my issue, is that I understand entirely where like the climate people, the protesters, I understand where they're coming from, but the stuff they're doing is insane. And I'm not saying anybody here is excusing that. I'm just saying like there's a certain point when you become so obsessed with it and so dramatic from it that you could end up causing so many more problems, because there will be people who just, in order to just give the middle finger to these people who they hate, instead of paying attention to the environment, will just be like, well, screw you, I'm going to drive my diesel and do all this other stuff, and just not even going to try to do anything anymore because I don't give a shit, because you people have made my life a living hell. So it's that whole thing of like, we need to react to it and we need to do stuff, but there is such a thing as overreacting to something. And that's kind of always been my worry with all this stuff, is that I'm afraid we're overreacting and we're going to make it worse.
You're saying government can't solve problems with like taxes, like carbon taxes? Totally. We can just have carbon taxes, because that's like a tool that the government understands. Let's make it painful for you to do business. That will just solve the problem. It's like, no. If the government wants to do something to be helpful, what they can do is they can remove obstacles. Well, actually, when it comes to stuff like nuclear, they can actually be helpful.
Yes.
Because the insurance situation is actually really bad there. So if you're looking for something to guarantee, maybe student loans for people learning Balinese basket weaving with a minor in feminist ecology is not the thing you should do. Instead, if people meet certain standards, underwrite part of the loans needed to construct the nuclear plants we need.
Yeah, kind of like what the American military does with like doctors and stuff like that.
Hold on. But you're forgetting the most important part. When they build that nuclear plant, they're going to need a department of basket weaving and feminist. What was it? Feminist dance
ecology. Feminist
ecology. Okay,
yeah.
So they're going to need a department for that to make sure that the plant is running with the correct mindset of both feminist basket weaving thing and the thing. So I mean, that's entirely why that's entirely why Biden needs to just forego all of the student loans for these people.
Oh, I think instead of letting Frank Gehry design the reactors, we should let some Georgia O'Keeffe disciple and
Oh boy.
a couple containment
That's just
vessels.
smart.
A
That's
couple
just
containment
smart.
vessels with like a visitor center nestled between them.
Sure.
You want to make
yeah.
something. You want to make
Snack bar and
Chernobyl. You want to make
yeah.
Chernobyl look like a 5-year-old's birthday party. That's how you make Chernobyl look like a 5-year-old's birthday party.
Make it look like Lena Dunham's dad's art collection.
God,
then
whoa.
maybe the progressives will get behind it. Then
Whoa.
if we can just sexy it up and then make kids visit it, maybe they'll go for it then.
You know
God,
what's
Harry,
sad is
ew.
even after it goes up in a blaze, and it's been going up in a blaze for a couple of years, they'll just put a plaque right in front of it and say, "Hey, look at what we did. We made an everlasting flame dedicated to
They'll build another monument to George Floyd.
female basket weaving." Yeah,
Mhm.
it's dedicated to George Floyd.
Yeah.
There you go, God. Try and lightning bolt this one down.
So,
Turn the
thing is
fire.
that India and China largely don't give a crap.
Oh,
So anything that we do to
Ain't
try to make
mattering.
things better may not be sufficient. So I think if we focus on things that we should do anyway,
Mhm.
like building nuclear power plants, that's good, right? Because we're not
Yeah.
doing it just to try to make the environment better. That's just a little extra. That's a freebie that you get.
Yeah.
So
And
you
I'm-
do the thing you should do anyway, so that we don't have dependence on dwindling hydrocarbon stocks,
Yep.
and we can just largely not give a crap what OPEC says. Yeah, it's nice. Just do what you can do. We make more than enough oil to fuel the cars that haven't been, that
We're
have
fine.
to drive long distances.
Yeah.
We're fine. You
Go
guys
kiss China's
just
ass. Get away from
you
us.
guys just go jerk each other off on your little
Yeah.
energy supply chain somewhere else. It would
Like,
be
but-
really nice to be energy self-sufficient, even if it's a little more expensive.
Yeah.
Then
we were there.
yeah.
We were.
Well, I mean, as a long-term thing, we're going to run out of that other stuff. I would
know.
much rather have us
I'm
have
with you, Harry. I'm
have a
with you.
nice baseline of at least 25% of the power coming from nukes.
Yeah.
If you want to get another
Never gonna
15, 20, 30% from solar, knock yourself out. Get some natural gas power plants for places where it's not practical to build nukes. We wouldn't need a lot of them. Just little peak power plants for when the demand is high and the wind isn't blowing. But we're not going to let people freeze to death in Texas. We're not going to do any of this horse shit that they've been doing.
Yeah.
Exactly. Down in Texas, they would have benefited greatly. And you're right, Harry. I would say go with that, and go with reopening a lot of, or releasing a lot of the restrictions on drilling, and then reopening a lot of the pipelines. But those are all great. But I would also say let's start going back to looking into Nikola Tesla's free energy. Let's start pushing that. As long as we're
what is free energy? What Tesla's free energy? How does that work?
we've hit a point in the show where I think it's late enough that I don't think I'm properly able to describe Nikola's free energy experiments, but if you would like, I wouldn't mind collecting my notes and discussing it. But I will say,
Oh,
it's
that's
out
right.
there.
He believed in ley lines. That's right. I forgot about that. He
Yeah, and
he basically believed that there was basically what the Wiccans believe, which is there are ley lines of energy, and that's what he believed. And this is a quote. He believed that the Earth had fluid electrical charges running beneath its surface that, when interrupted by a series of electrical discharges at repeated set intervals, could generate a limitless power supply by generating immense low-frequency electrical waves.
Yes. And he built a Tesla coil outside of New York. I want to say Albany, but I might be mistaken. That ran wireless free energy for a few moments at a time. There's a whole bit about it, Westinghouse and I think General Electricity going at it.
Mhm.
And then what's his nut? Edison
There you go.
making it look like your killing elephants and shit. It's a whole thing. Nikola Tesla, we could have a whole show on it. Maybe I'll do it Sunday. We'll have a little history.
I
That was
think it's
Topsy the elephant, by the way. Topsy.
It's Warden Cliff Tower, also known as Tesla Tower. It was an early experimental wireless transmission station designed and built by Nikola Tesla on Long Island in 1901 to
Now, this was
1902.
the Tesla coil experiment.
I thought it was the tower thingy.
Like the dome. It looked like a weird
Okay.
dome.
Yeah, basically it's a building and then kind of like a little like teepee pyramid, and then there's a dome at the top. And that's the one that's at Shoreham, Long Island, New York. Yeah, it's Warden Cliff Tower. Yeah.
Long Island. Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, it was still New York.
Albany's
right.
north, right? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Albany's up north. It's north, yeah. But like it's the pictures of this thing is kind of cool looking.
This is the thing?
Yeah. Well, that's before it was put on.
No, that's a power surge. Oh, okay.
I think what?
No, the thing I had earlier was an extension cord plugged into itself because I was being a dick. This one here, buried through free energy.
Yeah, there we
That's the perpetual motion machine right there. Yeah.
And then
There
here's
you
the
go.
thing you guys were talking about.
At least the picture I see shows it on top of the little like penis tower on the building in the back. So it's like over top of the building. That's the picture I saw.
And supposedly the
I thought of
idea,
mushrooms.
the general idea around it was he managed to get a patent for a tower like this to be able to power up electricity. It was even, I think it was the first World's Fair. He was running to get the rights to be able to power it, but Edison beat him to it and got the patent for a light bulb or something like that, using the filaments, something like that. It's a whole fucking it's a crazy story. Look, the 1900s, a lot of things changed, and we were at a grasp of going at a whole different direction. Mandela effect. Hey, the new Mandela effect has there always been a K in Chick-fil-A?
Really?
Yeah.
Anyway, for anybody who wants to go to this site, apparently
the only thing. Oh no.
Sorry, okay, so apparently there was a grassroots movement to save the site. They were able to get in 2013. They're going to build a museum there dedicated to Nikola Tesla. And in 2018, the property was listed on the National Register of Historic Places. So it is a place people can see if they wish to.
Oh, yeah. I mean, pretty much with Tesla, they pretty much discredited him and his inventions, and he essentially died alone in a hotel in New York. The story goes feeding pigeons at a park bench. And then after he died, the government pretty much came in and took all his patents and his work. Because it wasn't just the free energy. There was a whole swath of stuff with like psychokinetic stuff and telecommunications, and
they gave those priceless research materials over to top men, didn't they?
Well,
top men.
It happens. Just recent. One of the guys that was killed apparently in the Buffalo shooting was a gentleman who, what did he do? He developed an engine off of water. Another one, because there's been plenty of these guys that have popped about and then suddenly disappeared or suddenly died mysteriously. So I'm sorry. This.
So
Adam
from what the internet says, Tesla died. It basically started when he was 81. He was going from the hotel he was at to the cathedral and library to feed the pigeons. When he was crossing the street, he got hit by a taxi cab. It threw his back out and wrenched his ribs. He refused to consult a doctor. He never fully recovered. He then died when he was 86 and 43. And he died in Hotel New Yorker. It was, basically it was found by a maid. It was found by a maid.
Yeah.
And it was ruled, air quotes, that he died of a coronary thrombosis. And then apparently all of Tesla's belongings went to a John G. Trump, a professor at MIT.
Who is actually related to Donald
I
J.
don't
Trump.
think so.
No, he is. He is like.
Oh shit!
I'm telling you, it gets so weird.
Oh,
so
that's
fucking
funny as
weird.
fuck. Oh god.
And
Oh.
Trump, the John G. Trump, he developed other things like the X-ray. He worked on the X-ray machine.
Yeah.
And
What-
So his
something else.
nephew is Donald Trump. Yeah, it's his nephew.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
Yeah, it's his nephew. That's what it is. Yeah, I
That's
remember
terrifying.
the story too. I remember the story.
Oh,
I've thought about this for years. I've thought about that for a long time.
don't you
But
just
yeah,
love it?
like this is a whole 6 degrees of separation thing. Like,
And then
everyone is
hold
connected.
on. Well, can we get to Kevin Bacon from here? I mean, I'm pretty sure we
Well,
can
you know,
because of Donald Trump.
speaking of that, one of the things that you begin to realize if you study kinship relations between people, anthropologists have concluded that if you take any two people in the world, they will be not more than 12th cousins.
Yo, yeah, I think I saw something like John F. Kennedy was a cousin or related to fucking Lincoln somehow. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
You can jump into the rabbit hole for a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
these.
You know, we are all one family. We truly are one family.
Banjo music starts playing.
Whoa.
Well,
Ding 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 ding. Got purty mouth.
inbreeding has a bad reputation, you know, because of Banjo Boy.
But
because
hold
of that
on.
stupid movie.
But it is,
you know,
Oh, no.
in a
he
way.
wasn't
I
that
mean,
great a banjo player, by the way.
well, no. All I'm thinking is Jacob and Sons,
Oh
and
god.
talking about Jacob and
Yep.
when
From the Joseph Technicolor Dreamcoat.
yeah.
Yep.
I
I love that musical. So it's the only reason why I know that.
It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, they're part of that line or lineage, right? I think. Or Abraham. No, never mind. I've gone off the boat. I'm sorry.
Jacob.
You've gone off the boat, off the deep end. I like it when Adam comes up with these stream of consciousness relationship. You know, one item related to another. It's like the old show. There used to be a show called Connections, I think it was called.
Well, I blame
Something like that.
I blame marijuana. Me and Mary Jane, you know, once we start dancing, it just goes all the way back in time.
That's the way it always was with me. Anyway, we're starting to kind of wind things down a little bit. Everybody kind of had their say this evening. If you have a set, I'll put it out there. If anybody has anything they want to put out onto the airwaves, put it out now or forever hold your peace.
Come watch the Saturday show.
Yeah, come watch the Saturday show. We have a pretty good
And watch
time,
Adam's
but
Sunday show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, listen, all kidding aside, I do want to thank chat for coming out and watching us. Thank you guys for hanging with me for a couple of hours. It's always a pleasure to spend this time with my friends. I'm just, I'm amazed sometimes at the changes that I've gotten to see in the course of my life. The way that information is handled, the way that who the keepers of information are, and who they used to be. You know, people like Walter Cronkite and Huntley Brinkley, the newscasters of old. Now everybody's a newscaster. It's one of the most interesting changes I could ever. I could never have imagined anything like that. I'm so completely blown away by the change that the connectedness of the internet has brought us, and the ability to share information with each other horizontally, and to feed back information up to who the people who used to be the putative keepers of the knowledge, and the rationers of information. They're not that anymore, and they're having a hard time with it. Ask anybody over at CNN. It's not fun being over there right now. Their whole world is evaporating, and they can't figure out what to do about it. I think if they're not careful, they're going to be a buggy whip maker in the time of the automobile. But I guess that remains to be seen. But the fact that we can sit here and get a group of people from all over the United States, or really all over the world, and sit around, and chew the fat, and exchange ideas like this, well, it's like a dream come true for me. I couldn't be happier. Absolutely amazed by just the changes really in the last 20 or 30 years. But with all that, I do want to say thank you for spending the time with me. Thank you for coming out and listening to us chat. And we'll do this again on Saturday, and again on Tuesday. And of course, Minions broadcasts every night. And Adam, you're doing the Sunday shows, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. And so come and see all of us. We have a pretty good time. But for tonight, the zoo is closed. Thanks for coming, everybody. Good night.
Night, night, night.